Alright, ladies and gentlemen, NEFER of course did just release a little while ago, but we still have her on a two-piece set, so I think it is about time we fix that. We could level up her talents a bit more, but we're waiting off on that for a little bit. So right now, I just want to get the artifacts done finally, and at the same time we're also going to be farming Llama's artifacts, of course, because we also just have her on Deepwood. We want to put Nahida on Deepwood, we want to have Aino on Instructor, we want to have Llama on the brand new Signature Support set, and NEFER on the brand new Signature DPS set. It should be a lot of fun. Now, if we go ahead and look at how much resin we have 46 fragile, we will be using 35 fragile resin here, which will be about just over 2,000 resin, so hopefully we can get something decent. We already did this for Flints, and it actually went decently well. Probably the most success we've had since the release of Fontaine when it comes to artifact farming. We don't talk about the Arlecchino incident, that was pretty cussed. So yeah, what we're gonna go ahead and do is just run our signature team here with NEFER, just hop right into it. We'll do maybe about 10 to 15 artifact runs, hope we get something good, and then after that I'll just do the rest by myself, and then we'll level them all up at the end. So first run here. Now, one thing I will mention is that I have been farming this domain a bit for dailies, but I will be entirely honest, it has not been all that successful. Also, the one annoying part in this team is, as I've mentioned before with NEFER, just not having a healer is slightly unfortunate, especially when we're doing a domain like this. Now, we do have Nahida on Prototype Amber. You can't actually see it with her normal attack animations, unfortunately, but, you know, believe me, it is there. Actually, we're going to go ahead and use a transient here, so technically this is going to end up being like 36 resin. But let's see, first pull of the day, do we get, okay, nope, we're looking mainly for EM main stats, and that's the problem here. When we were doing Flints, we were mainly looking for attack main stats, which, you know, isn't like super easy to get. Obviously, flowers and feathers are the easiest, but, you know, attack percent is much easier to get than EM, which is why I'm kind of expecting that at the end we might craft a few artifacts to make up for some of the gaps. Luckily, I basically have not crafted anything on this account since the mechanic has released. So yeah, we should be fine there. Our Aino could do with a little bit more ER, but I mean, she's using 3 and 4 star artifacts instead of 5 star artifacts, so, you know, oh well. Anyway, let's see, do we get anything good this time? Okay, Elemental Mastery main stat. The problem is no crit main stats. If this was on the support set, I'd be more in favor of it, but I don't think I'm gonna lock it if I'm being entirely honest. Circlet is probably the one I mind crafting the least, because I believe it only costs 3, whereas a circlet costs, whereas a goblet costs 4. So I actually think the most cost efficient would be crafting the circlet, although we'll just have to go ahead and see how that ends up going. Okay, this guy, never mind, he doesn't go down there. Okay, and I dodged right into his attack. I thought he was gonna go anti-clockwise, ended up going clockwise instead, and I dodged clockwise straight into his attack, which is a bit unfortunate. Let's see, do we get anything solid here? The answer is nope, and nope. Okay, lovely. Yeah, EM main stats definitely gonna be a bit more difficult. Now, one thing I will say is that this kind of content where, you know, I'd farm artifacts used to take so much longer, because I'd have to go, you know, leave the domain, condense resin, get rid of the fragile, condense the resin again, stuff like that. So, you know, it definitely used to take much longer. Now we can just straight up use the fragile resin to claim rewards, and then also when it comes to actually leveling the artifacts, normally, okay, I forgot to press E there again. Normally what I would have to do is, of course, level up all the free lines to see if we get double crit, but now that we can actually see what the final substat is, I actually know which ones to level up. So actually, these don't end up being as long, and they don't end up being as long to create, which is very nice. So yeah, that's pretty useful. For example, here normally I'd have to roll this one to see if it rolls crit damage, and if it wouldn't, then that would, you know, just end up wasting my time in the long run. So yeah, definitely happy with some of the quality of life that they actually introduced. Although, one thing I will say is that it would be nice if they made artifact farming itself a bit luckier, because that still has not changed in all of these years. 8.2k HP, so, you know, Prototype Amber's doing some okay healing here. But yeah, okay, like I said, you definitely do feel the lack of the sustain sometimes in this team, especially when you're doing multiple runs back to back to back. then Prototype Amber just can't really keep up, unfortunately. Now, of course, obviously you can dodge. Just the slightly annoying thing about Nefer's animations is that sometimes you are locked into place, and if you get hit at the wrong time, there's just absolutely nothing you can do. But, you know, oh well, that's just part of the experience, I guess. Just dodge better. Although, what I will say is that I hope when Columbina releases, she ends up being... I hope that she buffs Luna reactions and that she provides healing. That would be pretty damn nice. I think, okay, luckily we were able to... I think we skilled over that, which is kind of funny, but yeah, it would be very cool if Columbina had, you know, a bit of personal damage, Luna damage increase, and then as well as having thingy, a bit of healing in her kit as well would make Nefer's team feel quite a bit better. Honestly, I'm kind of... Okay, I wish this was an EM main stat instead. This would literally be perfect. They've given us materials to reroll substats, but unfortunately not main stats, so not much we can do about that. But yeah, about Columbina, honestly, it's just kind of hard to think of a kit for her which isn't kind of similar to Farina, where it's like, I guess you just make her more of a niche buffer than a universal buffer, because obviously Farina, she doesn't really work. I mean, she works with Flynn's, it's just her damage bonus. It's more of a application level that she works with Flynn's, less so of a buffing as damage, because of course Flynn's doesn't really benefit from damage bonus, neither does Nefer. So, you know, I know it's your best choice, and I'm almost certain that Columbina will end up being a replacement. I feel like she's definitely gonna end up buffing Lunar Bloom damage, although, you know, what do we do? What do we know? We know nothing about her kit so far, I'm pretty sure, so this is just purely my own speculation, but, you know, that's at least what I think is gonna happen. But yeah, a Columbina like that would definitely be much appreciated. I remember thinking that when Mavika would release, she'd end up making Moalani the best DPS in the game, but then she ended up kind of making Moalani not needed, because if you wanted a Hydro DPS, you could just run Nuvolette, and if you wanted a nuker, then you could just run Mavika. So yeah, that I felt a bit bad there for Moalani. I feel like she ended up being the most mistreated character in the version 5 update cycle. I was getting mixed up with Fontaine there for a second. I feel like ever since they started calling the patches Luna instead of version 6, I still normally just call them version 6, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Oh, why couldn't you be an EM main stat as well? That would have been pretty perfect. Even for Llama, you know, because we are running her in Triple Ninja, we don't really need all of the energy recharge. You know, she gets her ult pretty reliably. I mean, a bit is good to have, but, you know, we don't need an insane amount nowadays. You know, Nefer and Nahida will give us quite a bit. I believe we should be able to iframe a hit there with our ultimate. Nice. The ult actually doesn't end up doing that much damage in the long term, but hey, I guess it's useful for iframes, and it's less of a DPS loss than if you were to dodge instead. I think we'll do about 3 more runs here, because we're not getting all that lucky, if we're being entirely honest here. Okay, 4 pieces. Are any of them good? Nope, none are for the time being. Love that for us. Okay, well, I guess we just have to go ahead and go again in that case. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Nefer's team so far? Like I said, I actually quite enjoy playing them. I also really enjoy her playstyle. I just wish that we had a bit more sustain options. Okay, you're able to dodge that as well. But yeah, like I said, will Columbina end up making the not quite DPSs the best characters in the game? I'm not sure. That's what I expected Mavika to do to the Natlan DPSs, but then she ended up being the best Natlan DPS herself. But I don't think they'll do the same thing twice for Columbina, especially because, you know, I guess it kind of makes sense for the Pyro Archon to be... Okay, this is actually a pretty perfect piece. I guess it makes sense for the Pyro Archon to be a DPS, you know, God of War and that. And then also, you know, Pyro just tends to be often considered as a more DPS-focused element, whereas Hydro is often a lot more supportive, so, you know, I doubt they'll do the exact same thing all over again. Just go ahead and use our ultimate again. Can't be asked to press shift. Who wants to dodge in the big 2025? Am I right or am I right? I feel like the entire player base used to be so much better at dodging before we ended up having Summy Shielders. Of course, Zhongli made people a bit worse at dodging, but then again, you only had one Zhongli on your account, but now you have like Lanyan, Nefer, Setlali. I just feel like you don't need to dodge in this game anymore. But then again, it feels like enemies are almost balanced nowadays around you not having to dodge. Like, imagine trying to... I don't know, it just feels like dodging nowadays just ends up being such a DPS source, especially in modes like Stygian Onslaught, where, you know, I feel like you kinda just have to deal with it. Like, if you don't have very vertically invested characters and you want to clear the high difficulties of Stygian Onslaught, you're just gonna have to end up, you know, sucking it up, and then if you die, just retry, and then go ahead and keep doing that for quite a while. So, Yeah, also, I always forget just how big Nahida's field is. It does feel decent to be able to use Nahida again. I am decently happy about that. Let's see, do we get anything? This will probably end up being our final run, and the answer is no. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and spend 20 more fragile resin on myself, hoping we get something good. If we do, we'll level them up, and whatever we want to make up for, we'll just end up making up with the artifact crafter, probably because I want to finally have some good pieces for our non-card characters. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in a second. Well then, we have gone ahead and finished our runs. As you can see, this is about 35 fragile resin spent, aka just over 2,000 resin. And what we have to show for it? Well, as soon as I stopped rolling, we got 2 absolutely insane pieces for Nefer, which we will be saving for last. I hate to do this, but I honestly, this is just how I want to organize the suspense for myself. First of all, we got this, which is a decent circlet, so you know we will probably end up rolling this. We actually have 2 crit rate ones, which is nice. Once again, thank you to the fact that it actually shows us what it's gonna roll into. That's very nice. But first of all, we got this insane goblet, which I did not think we would get. This is absolutely insane. I am leveling this up no matter what. And then we also have this double EM crit, so as well as energy recharge. So I mean, Nefer doesn't really need energy recharge, but we'll take it anyway. Double crit, double crit. Absolutely love it. And then, you know, we have a few double crit feathers and flowers as well, so we'll go ahead and roll those in a bit. First of all, though, I do want to start off with Llama, because, you know, we talked a lot about Nefer. We need to show some love to our Llama as well. So we do have 1 EM piece here, which is unfortunate that we only have the 1. This is one I actually got before today, so honestly I'm just gonna switch to this one. And then once again, this is also another one that I got before today, and it is still our best one, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to go ahead and grab that one as well. So we're gonna end up rolling flowers here instead. And we do have double crit along with EM here. Honestly, I do feel like EM and ER, I'm not sure how much crit. Do we really need crit on Llama? If we're being honest, I'm not sure. Maybe I just do it for the time being. I mean, we're not gonna have a crit circle. I mean, our crit ratios aren't gonna be good anyway, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and prioritize EM as well as ER. And then if it has a little bit of crit rate on it, then we will just go ahead and take it. So let's just go ahead and do that. And we have this one, which has, you know, I think we'll roll this one. It has double crit, EM. Actually, wait, do we have any 4-liners? We don't have any 4-liners. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one. You know, a bit of base crit rate would be nice on our Llama, although I'm not expecting anything special. We roll into EM, which is nice. That's the most important for us so far. Let's see, do we roll into it again? Yes, we do. Perfect. One more time, pretty please. And then I'd take like an EM roll would also be nice. Let's see, what do we get? Okay, an ER roll, we'll take it. And now either EM, maybe crit rate even. Actually, I think crit rate only matters if you use her hold skill. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she changes the Boom's damage chance to crit. So yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and focus on EM or ER. You guys can let me know if having crit would actually be helpful, but I'm pretty sure that it isn't. So just gonna go ahead and go back into EM as well as ER. And do we have any 4-liners? No, we do not. So there's I mean, do we have one with a bit of crit? No, we don't. So that's 5.8, 21, 6.5, 16, and then, okay, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and roll this one because it has the highest base EM. Do we roll into it is the question. Let's go ahead and see. EM roll. Okay, we got 1 ER roll. Hopefully the rest are gonna be EM. If not, we'll probably switch piece. Okay, wait. I think we're gonna go ahead and switch piece here. Please roll into EM at least once. Yes, it does. Perfect. And honestly, I think we can just feed that piece into this one. We have a lot of artifacts here. Let's go ahead and feed that in. Okay, nice, perfect. Some EM and ER rolls again, what we love to see. One more EM roll, please. Okay, nope, but that's fine. So right now, this is how our Llama is looking. I think what I'm just going to go ahead and do, take off set requirements, go ahead for EM. Do we have any EM, ER, double crit? We do have, but is it worth going for? Because we basically have no crit stats. I don't think so. So let's go ahead and keep this. So our Llama ends up looking at 1000 EM, 232 ER actually. I don't think we need anywhere near this much. So maybe, is it worth maybe investing a bit into crit instead of ER? You guys can let me know. I'm not all too sure about it. I mean, if we take the artifact recommendations, you know, it does recommend crit, although, like I said, I'm not all that sure how important it is. Should I go for EM crit pieces instead? You know, should I level up something like, let's see, something like so, and then also this. You know, could do this as well. We do have some okay pieces for that. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for the time being. Now, the main part, Nefer, we want to start off first of all with her flower. Let's see, so we have EM double crit, we have double crit 4-line. Okay, this is a 4-line double crit, so we're going to go ahead and start off with this. We start off with an EM roll, we'll take it, although I want to focus a bit more on crit, please. Would you like to give us crit? No, you really want to give us EM. Okay, I'm not going to get rid of it, but I just want to see what the other pieces would give us. So this has rolled once into crit. Oh, still once into crit, twice into crit, 3 times into crit. Okay, give us another crit damage. I mean, it's an okay piece, although not 100% sure if we're gonna go ahead and use it. Let's see. We have a lot of useful stats here, just as long as it doesn't roll into flat defense. Okay, another crit damage roll, very nice. Unfortunately, flat defense and then also crit rate. So 6.2 to 21. Technically, this has slightly higher stats, but honestly, I think because maybe I just take this for the 19 EM. That's what I'm feeling right now. Anyway, let's see. Once again, double crit, double crit. We have a lot of double crit here. Holy. Although no 4-liners, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with this one here. Let's see. Any crit rolls? Nope. It rolls into the only useless stat. It rolls into the only useless stat again. I'll give it one more shot, although I probably even shouldn't. Okay, I'm not really interested in that piece, I'm not gonna lie. Now, which one do we want to go for? I think we just go ahead. Actually, is there any crit rate here? No, there isn't. Okay. Let's just go ahead and speedrun these a bit. Let's see, do you roll into crit? Yes, you do. I'll keep leveling you until you don't roll into crit. That's just what I think is the quickest way to do this. So let's see, will you roll into crit? Yes, you do. Do you roll into crit again? Yes, you do. A bit more crit damage would be okay. A bit more crit damage would be nice. Okay, never mind. We just have, this is a 40 CV piece, but it's 16% crit. I mean, I guess we'll take it. I mean, we'll see here if we miss any crit rolls. We'll just stop leveling straight away. Okay. Are we gonna have another insane crit piece? Okay, never mind. We are probably just going to go for the high crit rate one, but obviously the set does give us quite a lot of crit rate as well. So, you know, I'm not too... Okay, yeah, we're definitely not rolling that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to roll with this. And then if we go ahead and take off our artifacts here, we see that we are currently at 27 to 107. I think we want to go for... I'm pretty sure we want to go for a crit damage piece here. Both of these have literally the exact same roll value. So let's go ahead and see. Do we roll? Okay, we roll into defense here. Can we get a useful stat here instead, please? Okay, we get EM, nice. Can we get crit rate here? Okay, yes, we do. Perfect. Can we get another? Okay, another crit rate now. This would be perfect. I don't know. I don't know. Can this one roll into crit rate instead? Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and stick with this one, but now comes the exciting moment, because now we have our double crit, EM, Sands, and Goblet. And now if these roll badly, we're just going to show for forever. We started with crit rate, perfect, this is what we want. Crit damage, again, perfect roll so far. Crit damage again, perfect. Crit rate... defense is unlucky, but can we get one more crit roll? Okay, this is an insane... This right here is an insane piece. This is, once again, 40 crit value, 43 crit value, I'm pretty sure to be precise. We definitely want to equip this. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at our substats, we're definitely going to hit that 200, that juicy 200 crit damage. Now then, it's just a question of okay, crit rates, this is perfect. We might even hit 100% crit rate on our build. ER isn't what we need. Okay, more crit rate once again. Let's see, how much crit rate does that put us at now? 70 is our cap. Okay, so we're not going to hit 100, but actually, wait. Let's equip the piece first. And we are currently at 53% crit rate. I doubt we're going to get 17% more, so we're not going to be able to do 100, 200. But this is still a very, very good start. Another ER roll is unfortunate, but we do end up with 13.6% crit rate here. Although, we're a bit roll on our crit damage stats, I'm not gonna lie here. We have two very, very crit heavy pieces. Although 55 to 104 I guess we'll take. if we actually, if we put on a off piece here, let's see, crit damage with crit rate and EM substat. Do we have anything of the sorts? Yes, we do. If we go ahead and put this off piece on, this brings us up to 62.6 crit rate, which is 92.6 in battle, 204 crit damage with 123 ER as well as 877 EM. I think, and also if we ascend, we'd get a bit more crit damage stats as well. So I think, honestly, I think we take this. This is as close to 100% crit rate as we're probably gonna get. So yeah, this will end up being 92% to 214 in battle. I think we'll take that. I'm very happy with that. Next up, we'll be level 90ing her as well as fully leveling up her talents. So yeah, with the way that things have went, I'm actually very happy with both how our NEFER and LAUMA ended up. I'm very excited to run this team next time in the Abyss. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how your artifact farming has been going, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.